at 7 o'clock. Just for the record, my name is Sam Taylor. I'm the Chief of Police, Lakeland Police Department. To my right and your left is Assistant Chief Marvin Tarver, who's over our Uniform Services Division, Neighborhood Services Division, which is the uniform guys. To my left and your right is Assistant Chief Steve Pacheco. He's the Chief of Detectives over the investigation. And next to him is Assistant Chief Hans Lehman, who's over our Special Operations Division, our bureau rather. I'll recap exactly what we talked about last night, and then I'll provide you with a little new information that we were able to come across today. Yesterday we started to receive multiple phone calls, 911 calls at about 3:43 yesterday afternoon of a shooting that had just occurred in the 900 block of Iowa Avenue at Plum. Officers arrived at the scene within 1 minute. We had 4 uniformed patrol officers on the scene. We had 3 victims that were transported from the scene with gunshot wounds by emergency medical services, our ambulance. The other victims were transported in personal vehicles to Lakeland Regional Health. After the officers got there, we learned that a dark blue Nissan Altima was the suspect vehicle, or the vehicle that was firing at the victims from the roadway with dark tinted windows. It drove north on Iowa Avenue and then turned right or east onto East Memorial Boulevard. The vehicle was described, as I said, as a dark blue Nissan with dark tinted windows and a temporary tag. We gave you that information last night. As of last night, we had 10 victims. 2 had sustained critical injuries. 1 was shot in the abdomen. The other one was shot in the face or the jaw area. And the other 8 had non-life-threatening injuries. As of this morning, we're going to up the victim count to 11. We had another individual that showed up at Lakeland Regional Health as a walk-in, so now we have a total of 11 victims. He also sustained minor injuries. All of our victims are male, and we gave you the age ranges yesterday. Total victim count now is 11. 2 victims still have very serious injuries. 1 is in surgery, or was in surgery last night at Lakeland Regional Health. The other one was transported to Tampa General Hospital. The gentleman that was shot in the face is now at Tampa General Hospital being treated for his injuries. We're expecting the other 9 victims to be released from the hospital today. They will be treated and released, so they will be available. The detectives have interviewed all the 9 victims that were able to speak with us. The other 2 victims obviously are in surgery and have not been interviewed as of yet. We're certainly grateful to everyone that called us as a result of the information that the media put out last night. We received numerous phone calls. We got a lot of information. And as I mentioned yesterday, we feel pretty confident that there are at least 4 victims, or 4 suspects, 4 shooters that were in the vehicle. Let me back up. 4 people that were in the vehicle. At least 2 of them were shooting. So at least 4 people that were in the vehicle, we believe, and at least 2 of them were actively involved in the shooting. There may be more that were involved in the shooting. This morning, we believe we have located the vehicle. So we have a high level of confidence that we have located the vehicle. And this was the photograph of the vehicle that we put out last night from Ring Camera Video. And this is a picture of the vehicle that we located this morning. As I say, there's still some lab work and some processing that needs to be done on this vehicle, but we have a high level of confidence that this is the vehicle that we were looking for. We do not have anyone in custody yet. However, I will tell you that detectives worked throughout the night to identify suspects, and we have some, I will classify as very promising leads, some very promising information, and we are actively pursuing all those leads right now as we speak. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have. I think that's all. I do want to mention the partnerships that we have with all of our agencies. I had the Polk County Sheriff's Office reach out to me last night. I had the U.S. Attorney reach out, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, ATF, Homeland Security, just all of our partner federal agencies. We do have ATF is here this morning. We have been in contact with all of our federal partners, and they have been tremendous. They've all offered their assistance, and we are going to take them up on some of their offers of help, particularly as it comes to the lab processing and the processing of some of the evidence that we believe to be in the vehicle. And we are going to take them up on their offer to expedite the processing of that evidence. So, and I'll leave it at that. So, Ken?
Any idea of motive?
Not yet. We don't have our suspects yet. Obviously, we found a quantity, as I told you last night, we found a quantity of marijuana at the scene that was packaged for sale. So, I mean, you can draw the nexus. That's probably has something to do with narcotics.
Where was the vehicle located?
Where was the vehicle located? It was located in Lakeland. I want to leave the exact address right now. I don't want to give you the exact address. It was located in a neighborhood in West Lakeland.
Chief, there are people in that neighborhood who believe that this is a result of gang violence. Is there anything you can say? Are there any signs that that's what this is?
We don't have any indication that that is the case. That may very well turn out to be at the end of the investigation. If that's the case, we'll certainly let you know that. But because we're so early into it and we don't have our hands on the suspects yet, but we've heard the same thing. But I don't know that to be true.
I know you don't have suspects yet, but is there?
We do have suspects. We have people that we're very interested in. We don't have our hands on them.
Are they from out of town?
They are.
Are there 4 suspects?
As of this morning and late last night, I don't want to put a number on it, but we have more than one. I'll leave it at that.
Is the vehicle registered to anybody, or is that a possible suspect?
It's yes and yes. It is registered to someone, and that is a possible someone that we want to speak with. Yes, sir.
How far out of town are we talking?
Polk County area.
Polk County area?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
What led to finding the car?
I'm being very careful in the words that I choose. We had an officer drive by and notice it, parked in a neighborhood.
Last night you mentioned efforts to mitigate crime in that area. What has the police department done in that area?
We have certainly, as I mentioned last night, there are a lot of good people that live in the neighborhood. Certainly it's a challenged area. We are constantly, with our neighborhood liaison folks, are constantly working with the people in that area to improve their lives, and we can get you a list of everything that we've done as far as, we've done quite a few search warrants, and we've tried to remove the criminal element out of that neighborhood to the extent that we can. But we've worked with that neighborhood for many, many, many years and tried to help them improve it. Sure, absolutely. We also have some video that will release to you, some ring camera video that we've been able to obtain that Robin will put in a drop box for you, or get it to you however you want us to get it to you. That shows the vehicle, and it's got sound with it as well. So.
Crime Stoppers offered the reward money last night, rather.
$5,000. Yes.
$5,000. Should we read into it that it's been difficult to get information from people in that neighborhood?
Oh, no, I wouldn't read into that at all. I wouldn't characterize it that way at all. In fact, we've had quite a few people call us from that neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods. We've had very good cooperation from all the neighborhoods that we've asked for help from. Yeah, no, I would not say that at all. So we haven't given out the reward yet, but that money is still available if someone would like to give us a phone call. That money is still available. All right, you guys gonna let me off the hook easy, so.
I just wanted to ask if that's a neighborhood that you said has been a challenging neighborhood, and you put a ton of effort into that neighborhood. There's been some concern that this was drug related. If that's the case, how is drug dealing going on in a corner that's like block off the main intersection?
Yeah, we're not there 24 hours a day. I don't have an officer that's posted up there all hours of the day, and I asked the same question. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you other than the fact that we're not there all the time. We do the best we can with what we have, and we certainly have put quite a few people in jail from that area that are trying to remove the criminal element, but we're not there all the time. So about as quick as we leave, then they go back to selling their wares. So.
What's the turnaround time for the bringing drug out? There you go.
30 minutes, within an hour, yeah. Yeah, we're trying to get that to you before your noon. I'll answer that question this way. It would not surprise me, but it would not surprise me if we don't arrest anyone either. So I've been in this long enough to know that, to try not to put any timelines on myself. But I do know the detectives were out all night last night. They went home and grabbed about 3 hours of sleep, and then they were back this morning by 7:30. They were back working on it. Obviously, the vehicle is a very significant part of this, and the evidence that we find in the vehicle is going to be very significant. And we've got to write some search warrants. We did recover some firearms from the vehicles that were transporting the victims to the hospital last night, so we've got to vet our way through those as well and find out who those firearms belong to. Who's the owner of those firearms, I guess. So, good question.
Can you give us an estimate of how many officers and detectives were working overnight along with any agencies that were helping in the search?
Yeah, we had at least 25 uniform officers, and I had at least 15 detectives out last night, along with the Sheriff's Office Real-Time Crime Center. They were involved as well. Okay.
Has there been any interaction with the Lakeland CRA, because that is the midtown CRA district, and they own several properties adjacent to where this occurred?
I have not personally spoke with them. I can't speak to if the other detectives or some of the other supervisors have had interaction with the CRA folks, but I've talked with a lot of people in the past 24 hours, and but none specifically from the CRA.